Georgia is one of the oldest birthplaces of viticulture, which is why the country is known as the motherland of winemaking, and which is proven by the rich archaeological finds that have been discovered in this country. Ancient earthenware vessels for storing wine called kvevri have been found in Georgia, proof that vines were cultivated and that wine was made in our country 8,000 years ago. Highly developed ancient wine cellars called marani have also been found, not to mention different kinds of wine vessels and winemaking tools which are historically speaking comparatively new, but which have been dated as being 6,000 to 7,000 years old. Georgian folklore also speaks of age-old viticultural traditions springing from the depths of time, as do the tradition of embellishing churches with vine motifs and legends about the vine itself, which the Georgians call the Tree of Life or the Tree of Paradise. Noteworthy also is the historical legend according to which the Georgian Saint Nino preached Christianity with the aid of a cross made from two intertwined vine branches. This is why the cross of the vine is a national symbol of Christianity for Georgians. In 1878, David Sarajishvili, after having obtained doctorates in philosophy and chemistry from the universities of Munich and Heidelberg, and having also studied agricultural science in Halle and Hohenheim, went to France in order to learn the technology of spirit, liquor, and brandy making. 2 years later, he returned to Georgia and started a new kind of business in the Russian Empire, the production of brandy. During the next few years, Sarajishvili carried out research into the spirits which were distilled from the wines produced from the vine species which were cultivated in Georgia and in the regions of the Russian Empire. At the end of this research, Sarajishvili discovered that these species of vine were suitable for the production of brandy and had the same characteristics as the French species used for making cognac in France, such as Follebranche, Colombard, and others. Sarajishvili imported the latest industrial equipment for the distillation of brandy from Europe. He invited French specialists of the distillation of brandy and liquor, and in 1884 he founded the Sarajishvili Company. In 1888, the company produced the first Sarajishvili brandy. From that day onwards, and until the day Georgia became part of the Soviet Union, production greatly increased, despite many obstacles such as the First World War, poor harvests, and so on. Production increased by a factor of 40 during the company's first 14 years. The company dominated the Russian market. Sarajishvili's brandy, which was exported by famous merchants such as Smirnov, Walbrook, Arabaj, Dupré, and others, was successfully sold in cities across Europe and Asia such as Berlin, Vienna, Geneva, London, Warsaw, Tabriz, and Istanbul. The Sarajishvili Company consisted of 13 factories in Tbilisi, Vladikavkaz, Yerevan, Kalarasi, Ganja, Goichai, Bargyushad, Taromovka, and Kizlyar, 10 warehouses in Tbilisi, Baku, St. Petersburg, Moscow, Warsaw, Theodosia, Vladikavkaz, Charjui, Odessa, and Samara, and representatives in 6 cities, in Kiev, Vilnius, Riga, Odessa, Kharkov, and Rostov. The company produced 60 kinds of alcoholic beverage, such as brandy, rum, vodka, liqueur, wine, and others. In 1913, the company was granted an imperial warrant, officially recognizing it as purveyor to the Russian imperial court. During the same period, the company received 14 different awards at exhibitions in Europe and in Russia, among them 10 gold medals. Apart from being associated with a high level of quality, the Sarajishvili brand also engaged in charitable activities. The company founded new scholarships for talented students in different fields, and every year would finance the studies of around 100 students in European universities, students who upon returning to Georgia made great contributions to science and the arts. Sarajishvili also encouraged and financed the opening of new schools all over Georgia. The company financed the construction of Tbilisi University, the Georgian National Museum and Kashveti Church, as well as the restoration and reconstruction of Sveti Trovali in Mtskheta, Georgia's holiest church. The company provided its employees with social security, a rare benefit in those days, but now considered the norm in the modern civilized world. In 1905, Sarakashvili implemented the 8-hour working day, granted its workers 2 weeks of paid holidays, established libraries and Sunday schools for its workers' education, set up an insurance scheme, and provided its workers with free healthcare and with 6 months paid sick leave if necessary. The company's evolution was later caught up by the outbreak of the First World War, the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, and Georgia's declaration of independence, and ended with the country's occupation by Soviet Russia in 1921. In 1922, Sarakashvili was nationalized by the Soviet government and was only reopened in 1924 under the name Saksakh-Spirti, after having been closed for 4 years. It should be mentioned that the communists preserved David Sarakashvili's production methods, knowledge which has been passed on from generation to generation for over a century. The company worked under a different name for almost 70 years. Justice was finally done in 1994 when the company was bought by Georgian businessman Elguja Bubutashvili and the joint stock company Sarakashvili was founded. From then on, the company has been trying to bring back its old prestige, the guarantees of which are old traditions, modern technology, and qualified members of staff. Sarakashvili produces brandy according to the classical method laid out by David Sarakashvili in the 19th century. Technical equipment was improved, as were the methodologies of laboratory research and technical and chemical analyses. Many things have changed except one thing. An oak barrel has not changed because, without it, producing brandy would be impossible. The following question is very often asked. How is Georgian brandy different from all the other brandies? The distinctive feature of brandy, in general, is the variety of grape. I would also like to mention wine blending. Wine blending is the process whereby brandy is obtained, and the main part is brandy spirit, which in most cases must be prepared from various kinds of spirits. The final composition will be made from 3 or 4, or very often from more than 10 different spirits. This is the most difficult process, and its successful realization depends on the mastery, skills, and knowledge of the production engineer, which are themselves guarantees of the high quality of the final product. As previously mentioned, the variety of grape is the distinctive feature, and Georgian vines, grape varieties, and the special structure of Georgian oak distinguish Georgian brandy from others. For instance, a relatively young VS is made from the Tsitska Tsolikauri variety of grape which grows in western Georgia. Gorulim Tsvane and Chinuri grow to the east in Kartli and are used to make VSOP, a relatively older brandy, and in eastern Georgia, at the feet of the Caucasus Mountains, where there are more overcast days, grows the Rkatsiteli variety, which gives the spirit its wonderful, refined and complete taste, and which is the most important ingredient for making old, high-quality brandies. Sarakashvili has been storing the oldest and most unique spirits it has distilled annually since 1893. This treasure of preserved brandies bears witness to the company's 130 years of tradition and progress.